Hi guys, it's Natalie. So I spent the whole weekend painting. I didn't upload a video yesterday because I was so busy painting and cleaning the house, and today as well. So I repainted almost all of the living room walls because when the dogs lay down against them, they get quite dirty and I can clean them, but even then it still looks a bit brown. And then I repainted the door because Dakota and Biscuit can open the door themselves and they scratch it. So the paint had come off. Initially, when I moved, I painted the inside of the door lilac and the outside some olive green because I like colorful houses. So our fireplace is as well pink with pastel purple, so lilac. And I repainted all of those things because tomorrow we have a real estate agent coming. So there's actually going to be 3 of them coming in the next week. So I also painted a lot outside because we had a lot of rain in the past months and the paint has come off a bit. Also, we cleaned with the high pressure hose and sometimes the paint chips off. So it was a lot of work. I didn't have time to that was planned to record or edit videos. So today I'm just uploading this video, me talking and going for a little stroll because I am meeting my neighbor slash friend to go eat out tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to tell you a little more about how I ended up living in this really beautiful place. Look at that, that's the sea behind me. So I initially wanted to move to Italy, which was always my dream. I went to Italy a lot of times, stayed there for some weeks and even months sometimes with the dogs. I really love the area around the Amalfi Coast, so Napoli, and so on. And initially the idea was to move there. Even went to look at some houses in Italy, also in Abruzzo region, because it's really beautiful there with lots of nature, very green. But it proved to be a bit difficult to find a house in Italy. I don't know why it felt like it was much more difficult than here. Maybe because most of the people or most of the real estate agents there, sorry, there is something wrong with my camera. Okay, apologies for the turning around. But yeah, most of the real estate agents there, they, I don't know, I always felt like they were trying to scam us or something. Might just have been my impression. But definitely here in Spain, it was a lot easier. And in general, I've heard that in Italy, they're not that foreigner friendly, as in that they don't like foreigners moving in that much, which is understandable. But yeah, I don't know if that was really my experience. But anyway, here in Spain, at least in the region where I live here around Malaga, they are very foreigner friendly. I would say that most of the people I know that live here are foreigners. And yeah, so actually I'm going off topic. So I wanted to move to Italy, but then in the end we decided to look at other countries. And with we, I mean my ex and I. And then we looked at Portugal. Then eventually I didn't like Portugal as much to live permanently because it is not extremely dog friendly. It's not like dog unfriendly, but in most places dogs could not enter. And I also felt like you have some big cities like Lisbon and Porto, and then smaller city you have Lagos. But in between that, you don't really have very big cities, and if you live in the countryside you would need to travel a really long time to go to any city. And while I absolutely love living remotely, I also like being close to a bigger city where I can go and explore and do stuff. So then going coming back from Portugal, we drove through Spain and we came across this region here around Malaga, and I just kind of fell in love with it. It reminded me a lot of the things that I like about Italy, such as the sea and all the mountains. And it was also very green at that time. So I just really enjoyed being here. It was super dog friendly. I could take the dogs almost everywhere. I mean, I can still do that. And the image I had of Spain before I moved here was rather bad. I thought of Spain as this country with a lot of animal cruelty, and I always said I would never move here, especially because I work with this organization that rescues dogs from Spain, and I really had, I don't know, just a really bad image of Spain, which turned out not to be true at all. So, I mean, not at all, it is partly true, but there's also lots of good stuff. People here are always super nice to the dogs. They are almost always welcomed into shops and restaurants. There are so many nice places you can go, so many beautiful hikes. And then this particular area where we live now is called the Exarchia, which is between Malaga and Granada. So it is really remote. Some people, when they come here, they feel like I live in the middle of nowhere. But at the same time, you're 15 minutes off from the coast. You are 40 minutes from Malaga, an hour from Granada, close to the Sierra Nevada, which are the mountains where there is snow. So you really have the best of both worlds. You can go to the sea in the afternoon, to the snow in the morning. There are so many nice things you can do. You can go to different cities, and even in all the coastal towns, you have lots of nice things that you can do. So that was the reason why we picked this area, and to this day I'm still super happy about that, because it is a really beautiful area, really great place to live. And basically, when I was still living in Belgium, I lived with my dad because I had a doggy daycare, and we had a really big house in Belgium where we both each had our part. And I told him while I was traveling here that I wanted to move to this area, but I hadn't fully decided yet. But by the time I came home, he told me he had sold the house. So he's as impulsive as I am, clearly. And he decided to move here with me as well, which was really nice. So yeah, that is how we ended up here in Spain. Basically, I came here in March of 2022, and I ended up moving here in August 2022. So I bought my house in June, and yeah, it went really fast. Actually, in Belgium, when you sell your house, it takes quite a while. I think it takes around like almost half a year to get everything, all the papers and all that stuff, or at least it did with us. But here in Spain, it's like instant. Like you buy a house, and within 1 or 2 months, everything is taken care of. You can move into your house. So yeah, that's our story. We moved the dogs. So at the time we had, I think 10 dogs, not sure. And we moved them with 2 cars. So we drove in 2 days and got an Airbnb in between. And it all went really smoothly. And now, 3 years later, I am thinking of selling my house and buying a different house because at the time I was a bit pressured into finding a house quite quickly, because I couldn't really rent something with all of the dogs. So there was some time pressure, which in that moment I was not very happy, or rather very stressed about. But in the end, it worked out for the best. I found a house in a really great area. I have amazing neighbors, so lots of young people, because I thought there would be mostly older Andalusian Spanish people living here. But sadly, I have not had that much opportunity to practice my Spanish, because most people I know are either from Denmark, from the Netherlands, from Belgium, or from the UK. There's lots of British people here, also lots of Germans. So yeah, I think that's about it. I want to make some more videos with some tips on buying a house in Spain and some things to look out for, how we handle things, how to move here, how to move with dogs, and so on. That will be for the following weeks. So if you're interested in those topics, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Bye! Have a nice weekend!